Wake up, gamers, cause you're listening to Big Think Dimension with KZ Excellent,
I'm optimistic about things.
Dan and Bob Video Games,
You see that mountain? You can fuck another man on that mountain.
and Mr. Feel
Konnichiwa.
here on GigaBoots.
You know, I'm just really glad that we told everyone what's happening with the next-gen consoles. It's been really hard to keep it on the inside, on the DL, you know, since we've known for a while now, seeing as how we're gamer psychics. You know, I'm glad.
After Bob had his dream.
Yeah, so his vision.
I'm glad that everyone's freaking out about that.
This is fucking 10 minutes in, you're already shooting people.
You know, I've had some shit happen in regards to console launches and ideas and epiphanies. I've never had a vision.
He had a premonition.
He did, clearly. Good job, Bob. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Just
Whatever that
Bob,
may be.
Just don't tell the cops.
Bob's like, okay, I'll have some nachos before I go to sleep again.
He's like, it didn't happen this time, and then it becomes a sitcom episode, and I'm like, what was on the nachos? And he's like, well, I had jalapenos and this and that, and I'm like, well, we got to make sure you eat the exact same dish of nachos, so that way you have another vision.
It's really great how we're writing the first episode of that CBS esports show.
I'll run over you with my car.
No, you won't. It won't run that long.
I'll explode my car at you.
It's like Burnout.
It's halfway through your body as you're being crushed and it explodes.
Just use the aftertouch.
Yeah, I was going to say the wreckage of my car has aftertouch, so I'm going to just fling it at you, Burnout style.
Yes.
Oh, man. Bob.
What's
Now I
up?
can feel off the roof with your car.
These guys thought you had a deep cut with Cross Media Bar 2. I was ready to talk about how there was going to be a new Untold Legends game, Untold Legends 4, and the save icon was going to be
Untold Legends.
is going to be so insanely loud it breaks your sound system.
It was a good premonition. You should have used it, Dan.
I should have, but as it turns out, most
Save shit like a Ninja Theory.
people don't fucking know about Untold Legends, Bob.
You see, at some point, Sony decided they wanted to make Diablo.
Yes. And this isn't Sony. This is EverQuest Sony.
Ooh.
Okay, I've seen the cover of the PS3 one, but I didn't know it was Untold Legends because Untold Legends is microscopic
Yes.
compared to the giant Dark Kingdom
Yeah, no.
on the cover.
The Untold Legends was already an unsuccessful franchise at that point.
You say that, but that was only the second of 3 games. The
thought
PSP sequel came out after the PS3 launch.
Okay, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
But I mean, the PSP original game was already pretty bad.
That thing was hilariously bad. Overclocking your PSP could make it run well, though.
That's neat.
That's really neat. So there we are, waiting at a Walmart at midnight for our PSP. You thought I was exaggerating? I'm there for every launch, you stooges. Anyways, so there we are.
God, were you there for the launch of the Vita?
Of course
Right?
I was.
Of
I was there
course.
the second Target opened.
It's got an OLED.
Yeah, it's got a fucking OLED. Anyway, look, the Vita, that you're trying to distract me. So me and Handsome Joe and my brother are there at the midnight launch of the PSP, March 2005. And he's like, I'm trying to figure out what game to pick up, Dan. I'm trying to figure out what game to pick up. And I'm like, I hear Untold Legends is really good. I believe IGN gave Untold Legends a 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
There's a reason I remember telling him this. IGN gave Untold Legends a 7.6 out of 10. I misremembered grossly. And
He hasn't forgiven you to
no,
this day.
no, he has not. And he's like, you didn't even buy it to back me up so we could do multiplayer after that. You just let me languish with that fucking game. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks. Like, fucking, like I'm going to buy a shitty game now that I know that it's shitty. Luminous was a great launch title, though. He probably should have bought that.
Yeah, me and
Get
Agra
excited for the
raced it.
Untold Legends Brotherhood of the Blade spoiler cast.
Oh man, were they making that weird dungeon creating / dungeon crawler that was supposed to come out on PS3 as well?
No, that was not PS3. That was Vita.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
That was a Vita game, and that was being made by the studio that makes their MLB games.
Okay.
And then one day it just disappeared and was canceled. It was really weird. It was basically what if Diablo, but also you had your own lair. I believe the game was called Ruin.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I can look that up. Anyways, the point
Or
here,
layer.
guys, it's not called layer.
Where are we going?
Bob? Here's the lesson, everyone. Okay. Oh, the original name, Bob.
There's a lesson?
The original name, Bob, was Warrior's Lair, which was later retitled Ruin.
Okay. I
For
was like,
obvious reasons.
it would be a little bit confusing with their other layer-related games.
Their other Kino game layer.
Maybe don't name one game after another game that's already failed. The lesson here, guys, is if you're going to show up for a midnight launch for a console, make a very firm decision about what game you're going to buy, or your friend will say some dumb shit and you'll end up with an Untold Legends game.
I mean, I almost ended up with a bust-a-move game that didn't even have multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, and then we checked the review. We checked the review or something at the last second, and we were both mind-blown that the 3DS Bust-a-Move doesn't have multiplayer. You know when Bob had to make that decision? At the 3DS's launch.
Midnight.
We're there every time, guys. What do you...
You enjoyed that ambassador program.
I was there at the 360 launch party when my brother gets his game Perfect Dark Zero, brings it home. He's like, yeah, this console, it could do 2 orientations, right? It could do vertical or horizontal. Watch. The game's already booted, and he lowers it, and it goes... Burns
And then a UMD spits out.
It scratched a perfect circle on the disc, and we shit our pants. We brought it back to Walmart and said, "Yeah, it's fucking weird. This game disc just has a circle scratched in it for some goddamn reasons. Give us a new one."
I like that we found it out day 0.
Day 0, we just.
I was not there for that one, unfortunately.
It's okay. That game sucks.
I mean, it does. You could just watch footage of it and see how rough it is. Like, it's rougher than the original Halo.
Right.
And it came out 5 years later.
It's worse than basically most PS2 first-person shooters even, which that wasn't a high bar.
That's a bold statement, but I would rather go back and play Killzone 1 than that.
Yes.
I would.
And obviously Time Splitters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Point is, guys, next gen's exciting, but use protection. Read reviews. Or support GigaBoots so that way you can see every launch title in 4K by the end of, like, the week.
Oh, no.
Bold statements.
We've done crazier things on this channel.
We have.
We did Vita launch coverage with a fucking camcorder.
We did that. That happened.
I watched your Switch launch coverage.
Man, what was the name of that witch game where you ride the bike, Bob?
Oh, man, that was good. Oh, what was it?
It was like our last What Indie Hell game. Because it was so fucking weird. What Indie Hell Switch. There we go.
Man, did we even label that series?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Man, I don't remember the name of that.
Oh, well.
That's unfortunate. But yeah, guys, next gen's exciting. Unless you absolutely hate the money in your pocket. Vroom in the night sky.
Vroom in the night sky. Okay.
Vroom in the night sky. In the description of the video, I said, at least there's one Kuso game that's What Indie Hell tier in time for the Switch launch. Anyway,
I've seen this. I can't remember if I watched your video on it or not.
If that game controlled well, it would be a pretty neat game because it would be like Prop Cycle, and Prop Cycle's a great game. Everybody loves Prop Cycle, the arcade game that has been broken at most arcades since 2004.
Yep, sounds like a really good one.
Mm-hmm, beloved. So I you know what else is beloved, Bob?
What's that?
What I've been playing over the last week, aka Ring Fit.
Ooh.
I'm ready to talk about Ring Fit adventures here on the podcast. I am having a great time.
Your legs love it.
No, but I'm getting strong, and I think I've been pretty obvious on my stance of how I love being strong.
Of course.
To stupid degrees, yes.
Yeah. Look, I'm just trying to turn my legs into the Ultimate Keyblade. Is that so wrong?
No, you don't need that until you're 80 years old.
You gotta turn your legs into the Ultimate Keyblade or else they'll become that ice cream Keyblade.
I don't want to
That's a
have
good one. On the edge, it's got like an orange on it.
I don't want to have ice cream legs. Ring Fit Adventure, really fun game. I've only been doing the adventure mode instead of the idle exercise stuff and the other training stuff, which I find interesting. I've seen videos of that, but I haven't had time for it. I've been doing the series Gamer Gone Ripped, of course, and a lot of people have been checking it out and been like inspired to either like order the Ring Fit themselves or just exercise along with the stream or archive video. And I've actually gotten comments from quite a few people who are like, Dan, I just was trying to keep up since I'm cheap and don't want to buy the game. And Jesus Christ, good job. And I'm like, oh, that makes me feel better. Thank you. Because every time I feel like I'm out there and I'm exhausted and I'm like, someone watching this right now can do 200 squats and I'm struggling with my like 70th squat. To be fair, I did put the difficulty on way too high. Like, it's like, how much do you exercise? And I'm like, very little. And it's like, okay, how difficult do you want this to be? And I'm like, intense. And every day it asks me, do you want to change it? And I go, no, I'm good. You can keep murdering me. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to die. That game's been really great. I love the beautiful environments that you jog through. The gameplay mechanics are really fun, and I like how it has an almost like type matching style thing. Not quite as deep as Pokemon, but it does have different types of exercises, and certain enemies are weak to some, and others are weak to others. It's really interesting in that way, and it also keeps track of how many calories you've burned. So I've actually, I've been getting ripped.
Definitely.
Totally shredded. Between that and the mild diet I've been on, I feel immensely better. The only problem so far is that now that it's November, things are getting really, really busy for us because we've got projects down the line and we've got all the games coming out this month. So I really want to do another episode. I don't know how soon I'm going to stream it, but it's been a ton of fun, and basically everyone I've handed it to has really enjoyed that game. Like, you tried it out for a bit, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Thought it was all right?
Yeah, I definitely want to play more. I need time.
Yeah, no. What, you mean you don't want to work a full-time job and also do all these podcasts and also work yourself to death on fucking Ring Fit and then not sleep?
Whip crack.
Yeah, no. The not sleep is definitely the hardest part of that.
Yeah, I know, because one day I did Ring Fit insanely intensely and only slept jack shit. It was awful. It was the worst. But yeah, that game's really great. I recommend it wholeheartedly to anyone. I think the shortcomings of the game exist solely in the Joy-Cons because they are shitty when it comes to reception with the console. So the Ring-Con, as they say, which is a resistive ring controller you slot the Joy-Con into, its tracking is a little shitty just because, or at times, and there are ways to compensate, just because of the connection issue between the Switch and the Joy-Con. What I'm trying to say is they should have brought back the Wiimote, because the Wiimote was a little bit better about that.
Don't growl, Feel. Good.
They should really just fix the Joy-Con.
I mean, yeah, but it seems like at this point that seems impossible because if they could have, wouldn't they have done it by now? They're getting a class action fucking lawsuit.
Right.
But yeah, we're going to be moving on. Like, I'll be doing Ring Fit Adventures going forward, but there are some other games we're going to incorporate into Gamer Gone Rib. We hit our stream goal to get enough money to buy a Step Mania dance pad, which I haven't ordered yet, but I'm going to be ordering very soon. Also, we're going to be looking into getting fitness boxing on the Switch because I've heard really good things about it. And that came out at the beginning of this year and sort of, like, I saw it and I was interested and then I just forgot.
That's another one I'm curious about.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. What was that, Feel?
Can you be ripped enough to beat Punch Out Wii using the fucking Wii balance board and the motion controls.
I forgot that was a fucking option, and since
Right?
we're doing,
I am very excited.
since we're doing Wii Fit anyways, why not? You know,
I foresee a lot of fan art of Super Macho Man knocking Dan's head off.
Macho Man.
Eric as Bear Hugger.
Bogus.
Anyways,
Looking forward to title defense mode.
but yeah, no, that would be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to checking out all these games. Like maybe we'll find a Kinect game to do or something. Because
They did do
You
some
know.
on there, but I can't imagine it going that well just because of how poorly that thing works.
Dance Central's a fitness game in a way.
Yeah, that's true. That
like
one,
you burn
that one sounds
calories playing
fine.
that. And also there's the really dumb Xbox One ones.
Hmm. Did they do Your Shape on there? Or is that only on 360? I can't remember.
I've never heard of this game. Your Shape?
Your Shape is a Ubisoft exercise game for Kinect.
Yeah. When you said the title, I'm like, that has to be Ubisoft. Let me see. I'm seeing a lot of 360. Yeah, there's Oh my god, they called it Your Shape Fitness Evolved.
Yes.
Your Shape round.
Okay. We're starting your exercise, Chief. I'm going to need you to look up. Now look down.
I'll look up again. You're the best, Chief.
You're the new chief in town. It looks like Ubisoft made Your Shape: Fitness Evolved for the 360. I'm not seeing anything for the Xbox One. I'm seeing Xbox One Shape Up Extreme Connect Fitness, which I assume is them, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with that game. I haven't had much time for anything else. What the fuck? Okay, I'm posting this image of the fucking. Oh no, maybe I'm not. Thanks website.
Oh no.
There's box art for a game called Shape Up, and I'm losing it because this dude's doing a push-up and has sweatbands on and a workout outfit, but he's getting crushed by the logo.
He doesn't look too bothered by it though.
No,
Okay.
That's you.
he's very strong.
He's just staring at the perspective, and you expect him to say something like Mondays, right?
Can we recreate this? But you got like an OLED on there, a bunch of console
This looks like the-
mods.
This
a
looks
DX
like the
racer.
cover to a fucking National Lampoon movie.
It does.
It does.
National Lampoon's Shape Up.
But yeah, that's about all I've played over the last week, at least that I can recall.
With the cracks around his hands, I imagine he's pushing the world down.
That's a good Chuck Norris joke, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
Is there a style of humor on the internet that aged worse than fucking Chuck Norris jokes? Like, does that exist?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Jack Bauer jokes, which were the edgy version of Chuck Norris jokes.
Yeah, yeah. But that was not nearly as common, but yeah, it was a thing.
Also, I feel like everything that led to
I'm just gonna say nothing, and KG can edit out the whole thing.
Got it. Dan gave me permission to do less work. Hell yeah.
Censor up, gamers.
Yeah, just cut out the first 30 minutes of this podcast.
Bob, Jesus Christ. One, we've only been doing 21 minutes because that gives us 9 minutes of retcon content that we just get to say whatever.
Number one, you gave me anxiety that it was 20 minutes because I was about to say, whatever, it's been 10. It's been 20. Fuck this shit.
So, Bob, what have you been playing?
I actually haven't had the time to play like anything. I played a little bit of the Neo 2 beta. I want to play more of it, but Death Stranding comes out in a couple hours, so I probably won't be able to.
I played a little bit of it too.
First, I want to go into before Field can take over. I
Yeah,
want to
go
talk
ahead.
about the Switchglaive. I put my whole time playing with that thing, trying to figure out how it works because it's a new weapon they added.
Is it raw?
It looks really raw. You get like middle stance mode is a spear, low stance mode this like glaive thing that's like a one-handed sword almost.
It's like it's almost like the switch axe from Bloodborne where you have it in like the folded mode.
Right, and then the heavy stance mode is it folded into a big slice, which is really cool.
Folded into big thighs.
Yes, big. I don't think I really like that weapon though. It seems like no mode is great. Just like, okay, this is kind of neat, but not good in other ways. Like your Sice mode only has like 2 hits, and they're really slow, and they don't do as much damage as you would want for how slow they are. Yeah, it's really just seems like a middling thing. But yeah, I agree with Phil. It does seem like them trying to do a Bloodborne style thing with the switching.
In Neo 1, like, I tried every weapon and just defaulted to the sword.
I found a couple I liked, like the sword, the tonfas, and I was using the Kusarigama for a while because I had some interesting stuff.
I'm using the tonfas in this, and I think that it's great how the grapple, when you deplete their stamina, you get like a cinematic move that does a shitload of damage. The one for the tonfa is basically just you kicking them in the throat.
Yeah, no, they're really good. They were adding the DLC to the first game. That's might be why you didn't get to play with them before.
Oh yeah, I didn't go into the DLC in Neo at all.
Yeah, they had a really good DLC, honestly. I wish I had time to finish it.
All I know about that DLC is that you get to fight Ryu Hayabusa's ancestor, and they have the grab you by the neck and flip you throw from Ninja Gaiden Black, and the flying swallow.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I never got to unlock that fight, but I watched some videos just to be like, yeah, nice.
I don't think I used the sword very much in Neo. I ended up using the spear most of the time, and like the heavy axe. So I think I might just end up using those whenever Neo 2 comes out.
Yeah, I got to play a little bit with the hatchet showing in the first beta, and that was fun too, that's another new weapon. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything to say because it's not had time.
How far did you play into the beta?
I got to like the second or third waypoint in the first area. So I didn't even fight the boss.
That's about where I got through. Did you get to the NPC who joins you?
Yeah, I got to him.
He glitched for me, and it made the level really hard.
Wait, what did he do?
He got like stuck in just like standing, swinging his chain in a circle. He just stood there, and it was after a fight, and I could not get him to move.
Okay, so you just had to deal with the rest of the level without him?
Until I died, at least, which happened quickly because, boy, they really depend on you having him.
Yeah, they do show a lot at you when they put him on their team. They're just like, okay, deal with this, which I figured it was just harder because I was trying to use this new weapon I really don't like.
It felt Code Vein-ish.
Just the idea of having like an ally like that breaks.
No, the fact that you have the ally and they just dump guys on you.
Okay.
Was very similar to what they do in Code Vein, and I hope that isn't like a big part of Neo 2.
Yeah, hopefully not. It seemed like you could still take guys out before doing the encounter for a lot of what I did with the guy, because the guy wouldn't auto attack at least, so I was able to do like, okay, that guy's laying on the ground, I can headshot him and kill him right off the bat, or I can sneak up and...
I didn't even notice at first that the game, that it has MP now.
Yeah, because you got your super moves. They
were just on a cooldown in the closed beta, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
I guess
right.
They must have been like, no, that's too powerful. So now they're MP.
It probably makes sense. They've been pretty good about adjusting things after these betas too. So if it just doesn't make any sense.
The very first Neo 1 beta, weapons degraded rapidly, and everybody told them that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And they took it out. If they hadn't taken it out, Neo 1 would have been like a 4.
The weird thing is I feel like that first beta dropped better stuff more frequently than the real game ever did. So part of it was like a give and take almost of, yeah, they're constantly dropping better things, but they're destroying themselves.
They're still doing that in this. Like, you get so much stuff just in this beta, even just like, I wish you'd back off this specific gameplay element.
I love
it. I like picking up stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like it just because it does have that Diablo feel. Is the problem I had with Neo 1 is that everything they were dropping was just bad. Like, I got to end game, and it was just like, yeah, you're all dropping trash. I've been using one sword for like 5 levels.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was my exact experience.
That happened. Yep.
None of this is good. Okay, this slightly looks cooler. I guess I'll be worse and wear it.
I think that even the first one, they added options so you could reforge your weapon to have it look like whatever weapon you wanted. But that, again, probably something they added later on in the DLC. But yeah, I think that was literally. Oh wait, we played a little bit of Smash.
Oh
with
shit,
Terry.
We did.
Oh yeah, Terry. We need to talk about Terry.
Hell yeah, we do.
Terry.
That dude took me a while to get used to the inputs. I wouldn't say I'm fully used to it, but I have a way better job. I've done a way better job of getting used to his super inputs and stuff than dealing with Ryu's. Just because, oh god, like I feel
How
like
about trying to recover off the stage and going the wrong way?
I'm getting better at that. It's still completely nuts to me that you can push B and towards a platform, and as Terry, you will do a flip kick even further away from it.
Yeah, that kept getting me.
Yeah, no, it can go really bad.
I like having crack shoot, but I wish they had implemented it some other way.
They should have used the L button as a modifier button.
Yeah, no, letting other
good.
buttons do things would have been better.
Because every other character, okay, I want to do my side special behind me. You just press that direction and hit B. And in this, you flip kick forward.
If you push and hold the stick towards the platform after a second, maybe 3, and then push B, it'll realize you're trying to get back. That's the complexity of doing B moves with fucking Terry. Ugh.
Also, you can't grab the ledge if you do burn knuckle towards it and like hit it too close.
Oh yeah.
In the animation for burn knuckle, you will not grab to the side. You'll just fall.
Luckily, you can do the up B out of it, and you'll grab it after that. But yeah, it's a total pain. If you forget to do that, you're just dead.
Oh yeah, and plus, if you did burn knuckle even close to on the level with the platform, by the time you get out of that animation, you're too low. So you got to start from high if you're going to do that.
I was thinking if the punch ended right at the ledge and you would have grabbed it, because that's the situation I often got in. But yeah, if you're too close and you do it, you would just start sliding down it.
Yeah, during KZ's stream where we played a bunch, my punching part ended a little bit above the platform. I flew right past it, didn't grab it, and by the time I could do an up B, it was not enough. I was like, this is rough.
But Terry's best move is that spike punch from the air.
I really like his 100% damage special moves.
Yeah, no, those are ridiculous.
I love them. I do appreciate that he has that meteor like Feel's talking about with fucking down A in midair, just like Ryu. That was my favorite move for Ryu.
Yeah, it seems like Terry is just Ryu, but way better in every way.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. Kind of like in their actual games.
Look,
whoops.
It's Capcom's fault for balancing Ryu.
How dare they?
Correct.
SNK, they're bold visionaries who thought, what if Terry's the best?
Our game doesn't have scaling. If they hit you 7 times, you're just eating shit.
I really like Terry. It's taken a lot to get used to him, but I like most of his A attacks. I like his ability to deal with people who spam projectiles. His 100% damage supers are fucking incredible. You get the "Are you okay, Busta Wolf?" It's really good.
The hat.
His dunk is amazing.
His dunk is amazing. They even added dunking messages in the lobby, didn't they? With update 6.0. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, dunktastic.
Dunktastic.
Or you can just go grrr over and over.
I've got a microphone to do that.
Sometimes you just want to keep it inside the game.
That doesn't sound like me. Feel, did you play anything other than the Neo beta and Smash?
Yes, I played Skate for a while. Skate on the PS3.
Look what you've done to him.
That game's hard to get into because it controls so radically different from Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. It's cool to play a game where kick flipping onto a rail, grinding the rail, and then heel flipping off is like the highest level of combo you can do. because it's almost a sim.
Yeah, I really want to play that again. I played a little bit when it first launched.
God, it runs so bad.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I'm
But hey,
like, if you guys play, you guys can play on an Xbox One X. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to wait till PS5. Hopefully,
I have a contract with Microsoft on this podcast. We have to say it, Xbox One X. You have to say it exactly.
X-Bone.
Oh no!
Bad.
God damn it! My sponsorship money. No.
Other than that, I finished Trails of Cold Steel 3, a game that is approximately 180 hours long.
Oh my god!
I thought most RPGs were 20.
It's actually closer to like 80. But God, it's too long. Like, there's parts where I'm like,
Mr. Field with his RPG length psychosis.
Remove this. You go through a fucking enormous dungeon, the biggest one in the fucking game, and right after that it's like, here's a mandatory segment where you have to run through a dungeon you already did. And that's the point where I'm like, you could have cut that. Really fantastic overall. Better localization than I would have ever expected from Nisa. Although I think it's still slightly worse than the game's Xseed did. Which I feel like, it feels like the jobs Xseed did, but they weren't allowed to give it one final pass over. Like, it feels like it got one less draft. I can't really talk about the story because we're 8 games in.
Right.
Wait, 8? I thought there was 3.
Yeah, well, you've got the first trilogy of games, and then the next arc had 2 games, and this is the 3rd game in the next set of games.
Wait, so this is like directly related to Trails of the Sky?
They're all connected. It's like the MCU of video games.
The best, it's like Gundam. Gundam is the best way to put it. So we're on Zeta Gundam now.
So it is like a different generation,
or double Zeta.
Oh my god.
It's all different characters, but we're at the point where they start to bring in stuff from before.
Okay.
Did you make sure to play these 2 games that weren't localized?
Luckily, that isn't an issue. I thought everyone was like, oh, you go to that place in this game, it's going to be an issue. It isn't an issue. You can understand everything from context. They wrote it to not be an issue because they fucking knew. But I can't talk about the story because it so much of it builds on even just the first 2 games that it's hard to like talk about. Although, boy, they did the most ending they've ever done.
I want to read fucking movie reviews written like that.
So they actually, like, this is the end of the series?
This is
because there's still Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Okay.
Which is already out over there. Yeah,
whenever Falcom does every game in 2 game arcs, they have 2 game arcs. Even the 3rd game, because there's Trails in the Sky, the 3rd, that's not part of the arc. That's like a side story. But what they always do is the first game has the biggest fucking gut-wrench cliffhanger possible. And they did it again.
They Halo 2, yeah.
I'm gonna... Trails of Cold Steel 1, I'm not gonna say what it is. Imagine if Devil May Cry 3 ended after Virgil 1.
Huh. Okay.
And it was like, wait a year to play the rest. It ends with you getting your shit kicked in and impaled, and that's how the game ends. It's all on that level. Overall, I really liked it. I'd give it like a 9. I really enjoyed it. The story stuff was real good. All the new characters were good. The dub was real good. Some of the bosses made me want to die.
Because good.
For some reason, yeah, only some things make me want to die.
No, I'm saying that's real good that you want.
Oh. Because for some reason, Trails decides it needs to have 145 status effects. 70 of them are horrific and debilitating. So just every once in a while, it'll be like, this boss can inflict this one status effect to everybody at once. And if that lands, it's over.
It sounds great.
Because it's like, okay, we have poison and sleep and mute. Those are all normal. And sleep. We also have freeze, which is you can't take any action and also you're poisoned. my favorite, which makes me want to die the most, Faint, which is basically the character got hit so hard they're in like a stun state where you can't take any action and everything that hits you is a crit.
Oh.
But that's only like 2 bosses in an 80-hour game.
Jesus.
Boy,
Average length.
that tweet I made about you beating a boss and then the boss was saying they were holding back and revealing their true power, and that happens 140 times in every Trails game.
I played 2 of them. That's correct.
That happens constantly. It's hilarious. But at least they got better about it, because it used to be that you just beat the boss's ass, and he's like, "Oh, now I'll show you my true power," and he goes Super Saiyan and beats your ass in a cutscene.
Typically, that's something you save for like just 1 or 2 bosses in a game. Like that's the ending.
Well, the problem is that they're like, here's our villain organization that is the villains for the entire series. So obviously you can't just start kicking their asses.
Oh no. All those guys in Kingdom Hearts with those black coats got their butt kicked.
But the way they started doing it now is like you just open a boss fight and it'll go reduce their health to half, and then the fight's over. So there's not even the illusion you're beating them. I think the most extreme case was reduce their health to 90%.
Oof.
I'm like, ugh.
That's how strong he is.
The strongest character in this fucking franchise is a man with rainbow hair and fire powers whose name is McBurn. He rules.
What's the matter, McBurn? You chicken?
I've seen that character. He looks raw.
He is very raw.
Orange vest and everything.
He has a Super Saiyan mode in his. He gets a different title card when he uses it, because every character gets like a not as cool as Kill la Kill, but like a Trigger-esque title card when they appear. And McBurn's is the Almighty Conflagration. And then when he goes Super Saiyan, it becomes the Blazing Demon. It's raw. That's all I played.
KZ, what did you play?
Let's see. Aside from Smash at random hours of the day, I finished up the Outer Worlds because I went through and did the Supernova mode for that, which is the game's hardcore mode. And then I platinumed the game because if I beat the hardcore mode, I did the hardest thing you can do in the game. Like, there's no trophy that is as bad as that one is. Overall, going through that, you have your hunger meter, your drinking meter, and then you have your sleep, and you get heavy debuffs once they end up going down. You're able to restore everything pretty easily because your healing system in that game is an inhaler that lets you put in multiple different item types. So then when you use it, it consumes everything you put into it. So you can put a loaf of bread, a bottle of orange juice, and some morphine, and just put them all in there, and then you just suck it all up. That's pretty good. And you deal with that. Try to keep your meters up to date. And you can't fast travel to anywhere but your ship in these large maps. And autosaves are incredibly strict now, to the point where if you want to get an autosave like set up, you have to pop in and out of a location, so you're going to end up loading a lot just to keep yourself safe. I lost at least 5 hours of progress because I've died, and I had to just load and redo 10 minutes. And then that stuff just kept stacking over time. It makes you really care about the companions too, because they have permadeath on, and their skills overall are really useful. So you want to make sure to use them when the cooldown is off, and it lets encounters be a bit more approachable. But I think the mode does a good job of teaching you all the systems and like really get into the game, but it's just too aggressive for me. Would have liked something that had these features in, but wasn't as mind-numbingly oppressive the entire time. That said, I got to experience the final section in a different way where I didn't talk my way through the entirety of it and skip every enemy, which was neat. I was able to see that while it is very challenging, if you do almost all the side quests, a lot of people come help you during the final section, which is really neat. And I also talked to the final boss and convinced them to kill themselves. So this is a really good RPG.
Yeah, no, that's as I said
Dan
at the
made
first
a joke.
Yeah.
And it fucking happened. And then they said, "Okay, here we go." I had like told them, "You're fucked." Was what 4 skill checks amounted to, and they said, "All right, well, guess it's time to do this." And then all my dialogue choices are like, "Don't you dare!" And then they just pull out the fucking gun and just blow their brains out. And I'm like, "Oh." And then I just had to walk through a hallway, skip the final boss entirely, and
Now,
got my ending.
by contrast, in Disco Elysium, the first time you pull out a gun, you just have the option to put it in your mouth.
Finally, a game for me.
I think every single time you touch a gun in that game, one of the options is to shoot yourself.
I'm surprised an article hasn't been written about how it spreads suicidal ideation.
It's okay. None of those people know what that game is.
Did you know that some studies show that idealizing suicide makes you less suicidal?
I know whenever there's massive reporting on suicides, that suicide rates actually go up. That's
like
a thing.
A psychologist explained it to me, and it's like the idea that suicide is always present as an escape makes some people less suicidal.
I've always heard the opposite, where people have even referred to it as a social disease. Because when, that thing I just said of when reporting goes up on a high profile suicide rates tend to trend upward. That's what I was reading. Anyway.
So to get the platinum for this game, there are a lot of extra little trophies to get, like shoot people in the crotch when time slowed down 50 times. And
oh, I love Stranglehold.
Feel. What's Untold Legends also feel I love Stranglehold.
Hey, I know what Stranglehold is.
Yeah, Stranglehold was a higher profile launch title than fucking Untold Legends.
Stranglehold wasn't launch.
What, wasn't?
No.
It just had that John Woo push.
I thought it was launched for the PS3, I guess.
Untold Legends is the most generic ass name. You might as well call it Infinite Undiscovery.
Oh, it was a whole year after.
Yeah.
Look, the first year of any console blurs together for me.
Not for me, because I'm there at launch every time.
Experiencing
You're like,
the
wow,
nothing.
all these launch games are bad.
People are like, man, it was great. We had trophies at launch. I'm like, no, we didn't. We didn't have that for exactly a year and a half. They're like, how the fuck do you know that? And I'm like, look, man, I just know.
I thought it was 2 or 3 years for that.
No, it was 2008.
It's so long.
It was June 2008. So that would put it at a year and 7 months. Yeah, a year and 7 months.
So the PS3 didn't have a game until 2009.
Metal Gear Solid 4 came out in 2008, didn't it?
Yeah. They had a game that involved kissing.
And somehow...
Dan.
Somehow Metal Gear Solid 4 is still exclusive to that console 11 years later!
Okay, so...
Don't worry, the PS5 will fix it.
It'll fix it.
Now you have to say allegedly there, because sometimes people say we're parading rumors as fact.
That's true.
It's more like, what are we supposed, like, the alleged is implied in this case. It's fucking stupid to expect us to go, by the way, this is a rumor, it isn't confirmed. Let's just pretend the PS5 will be nothing. That's a lot of fun.
They haven't even announced the PS5 feel. Why do you keep calling it that? Actually, they did announce it, but that's beside the point.
Let's just pretend the PS5 will play nothing. Not even PS5 games. It's not confirmed it'll play those.
I don't know. This seems pretty typical launch experience.
Once
play
again,
Xbox
feel being
games.
cynical as usual.
You know, the worst part is if this thing actually, if the PS5 does what is rumored and it can play games from any console and you just stick it in and it works, this is going to be the hardest motherfucking console to cover ever because every motherfucker in the world is going to be like, Dan, hey, Dan, stick in this PS2 game I love. And I'll be like, I'm trying to cover these launch titles. They're like, yeah, but how good's Tony Hawk 4?
I need latency. I need input lag on Project 8 on PS5.
Let me go ahead and say this to be clear right now for anyone who's curious. If the PS5 can play these retro games on the PS2 and PS1, like all that stuff, it will have the snappiest experience doing that. It'll be better than the original game because one, it can handshake with your TV at 120 hertz, and two, the polling rate on the fucking PS5 is likely to be 1,000 hertz.
No.
And the fucking PS2 controller is actually insanely latent, which is why GameCube games always felt better, and that always threw me off back in the day, and I never understood why.
Feel this isn't good.
Why?
What?
Because eventually he's going to get that tech stuff off the ground and PS5 is going to launch and it's going to be button to pixel, the bouncer.
That'd be funny. I support that.
I mean, yeah, that's important research.
The first thing that is tested. Like, the loading's so fast, I can't read the lore.
So let's get to it. And then it cuts to Volt, and he's like, you ready?
You ready?
Hey, come on.
Now I'm just imagining the bouncer too, but they're like all middle-aged men, and Volt shows up and he's like, you thought I'd let you do this alone?
So you're imagining Devil May Cry 5? Man, I can't stress how much I love that about Devil May Cry 5. It's just like, now they're fucking old, man.
It has that Ghostbusters 2 energy almost. Or even then they were like over the hill. It's like, suck in your guts, boys. We're the Ghostbusters. Like, we're one Devil May Cry game away from like Virgil looking in the mirror and his hairline keeps getting higher.
So we were talking about what KZ was playing before we had to go in this tangent of, hey guys, the PS5
I literally watched it run away.
This PS5 is rumored to play all these things, and we're going to entertain that until we get a hard confirmed no, because there's plenty of patents and other things that kind of point towards it. And once again, and I stress this, if Sony does this, they win that gen. I'm not saying I want them to even. I'm just saying that's how it'll go.
It's just a fact.
It's just a fact. It's completely fucked up. I've never known a feature in my entire life that would just make someone win the console war. You? Has anyone else? Anyone? Has anyone ever heard of that?
Yeah, no. Unless your feature is somehow the opponent having the worst marketing campaign ever. But that's not a feature. That's just a random happenstance.
Yeah, that's not you having a feature. That's Microsoft coming out again and being like, always online. Big Brother is gaming with you.
Let me shoot my foot.
Y'all mind if I shoot my foot? Shotgun cocking sound. Well, I take it that's what you played this week, KZ. You didn't get anything else?
Oh, yeah, the last thing I was going to mention before, I don't even know how we got there.
Wormhole.
To be honest.
A wormhole. A conversational wormhole opened up.
A conversational wormhole opened up. The last trophy I had to get in that required me to have to play the game a third time. And it was... I can't say what it does, but it forces you to play as a stupid character. You must have below average intelligence so that when you do something in the game, it gives you the prompt. The prompt being, if you're low intelligence, some things just put in brackets, dumb. And then you do you say something or you do something.
Fallout 1 had that, so I'm not surprised they brought it back.
Yeah, so if you have below average intelligence, you make people angry sometimes because you respond in the dumbest way possible. And this is something that you can only do like a minute before the point of no return in the game happens. And you do it, and the game will end.
Oh. It's some shit like cut the red wire. Boom.
That on an even more hilariously large scale. But I bumped down to the lowest difficulty, and you can actually burn through that game incredibly quickly. And it was really good. I'm glad that they committed to dumb character options to the point of a unique ending just tied to it. But yeah, that's all I did this week. That's all the gaming.
Holy shit. Zorafab just finished his
already?
arc of me in the fucking replica
my
outfit.
God!
With the denim jacket and his weapon, the folding chair.
I'm waiting for my PS5. Oh my god.
Mark it. I'm putting it in the video.
Absolutely. There we go.
Too powerful.
It's so good. Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god. We were so shocked about this, we didn't even think about the pod lords.
Oh shit, the Pod Lords!
Oh, fuck, it's the Pod Lords.
There are new Pod Lords in town.
I hope none of their names make us fucking say a Mega Man X4-esque quote as we explode. Did Mega Man X4 have those? I might be thinking of Mischief Makers.
Mega Man 8 had that, where, you know, he would die, and then you'd be like, see you in my dreams.
I was about to say, when Bob loses to the PS5, I'll see you in my dreams.
I was thinking of Mischief Makers with the "How could I lose to you?" which has been a fucking sound clip in my brain for 20 years.
The Pod Lords for this episode of the Big Think Dimension are Danny Richardson, Notgak, E. Lee Broyles, Dandy Cageford. Please give back the brain cells to boldly flee stole from me.
Sorry.
Never.
Dank Mormons. Red Blaze 27. If you put ranch on your pizza, you're a freak. Hee-ho.
Correct.
Accurate.
Suzu Shiro. Emperor Zero. Sheep Heavenly. I'm gonna give this one to Phil. I'm not reading this.
Okay.
There we go. I'm just gonna post it in the. There you go. If that's what you're gonna read, because I'm not doing it.
Konnichiwa. Watashi wa thick quick desu.
Chris
Fucked up
Fitzpatrick.
that might be your intro quote.
Impidimp Video Games. Cringe before him. Moonmuse Entertainment Studio. Mozzarella CD32X. This sounds like somebody's having a seizure.
All good things.
Secret Society Laws members including Tail Time with Gex Maniac.
What?
At least the chest isn't full of Halloween candy this time. It's much more tolerable.
Saddam Hussein.
Okay, that's good. I like that one a lot.
Pooped my shirt.
That's it? My shirt?
Yes. And 101 Shades of Wonderful. Thank you very much to our Pod Lords.
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, someone who put in an obscure reference to a video game that I had to look up and then I couldn't pronounce it anyways. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Very good.
Thank you, Pod Lords. You're the new sheriff in town, Pod Lords.
How about I whip through everything that can be done in like less than a second?
Sure. I'm timing you.
Okay. Well, okay. Fallout 76 can be refunded in Australia. Australia has a refund law that says if a product has a major failure, you get to refund it no matter what. Fuck you. That's the law I wish America had.
Yeah.
Good luck.
In other Fallout 76 news, groups of Fallout 76 players that paid money
Yes!
have formed basically a peasant trashing aristocracy. Like, literally, they formed a group to stick their noses up at peasants.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they're
Classism.
called the apocalyptic aristocracy. They flounce around in fancy clothes while looking down on non-paying peasants.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
It's gonna be real sad when the class warfare goes hot and one of these people have their actual homes burned down.
Okay, let's move on.
Headcanon Studios launched a Kickstarter for a new TD platformer called Vertebreaker. It's like Umi Harakawa if it was a treasure game. You're like a skeleton and you throw your spine and like you can yank yourself to enemies and slam into them. Looks really cool. I already backed it, so that'll be fun eventually.
Yeah, that game looks cool.
Yeah, it's sad that that probably means we aren't going to see a Sonic Mania 2, but it's still really cool.
They could be building 2 teams, maybe.
Possible.
Disco Elysium is coming to PS4 and Xbox One next year.
Cool.
I'll play it then.
Yeah, it's not like KZ's going to have a lot of other games to play next year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't have time now, and I'll use any arbitrary reason to push other games away.
It's not like Dragonball Kakarot releases January 17th, 2020.
Well, that's good. I'm really glad it doesn't do that.
I have bad news, Dan.
What's the bad news, Bob?
I think it does exactly that.
Oh, no. That's fine, I guess. At least it gets in before the Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Isn't there another game right after Final Fantasy VII? Isn't it Doom?
Yeah, Doom and Cyberpunk
and Animal Crossing. Fuck.
Doom and Animal Crossing on the same day.
Yeah, at the end of March. Cyberpunk, I think, is
April, yeah. So it's like 1 month later.
I'm gonna have to get the sound engineer from fucking Doom 2016 to put that filter on fucking Isabel's voice for the fucking doctor. Like, it's the speech at the beginning where it's just like, I assure you, we did this for the best interest of humanity.
But it's just the Animal Crossing noises.
Anyway.
Imagine someone clicks onto this podcast and like, I want to get deep into it, and clicks on that.
Well, it's literally descended into weird animal sounds and growling.
So last week we talked about Ubisoft's financial reports and how they delayed everything that they ever announced.
Yes.
Correct.
Every single game that got delayed got a PS5, Xbox 2 version announced.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They basically just said, all that shit now has a PS5 version.
That's smart.
Hilde?
I don't know. I think it's pronounced Hilda in game.
Hilda was revealed for Soul Calibur 6.
She has the
armored
flag,
lady
right?
with a spear. Yeah.
She looked neat.
Yeah, if she's like in the old games, she's gonna have charge attacks.
Like Guile?
Yeah, like Guile.
Oh my god, is she a family woman?
I assume.
If only she had the hair.
If only Soul Calibur's win quotes were as insane as Street Fighter 2.
Just kidding.
Wind.
Suffer.
Now I have 2 Death Stranding things, and both of them are very irrelevant, so let's get through them real quick.
Okay.
Half of Death Stranding's development team was from Konami. Like, they stole
Wow.
huge amounts of people.
That makes sense.
Hilarious.
And
Yeah, of course.
in the most baffling piece of cross-media thing I've ever seen, Days Gone is getting an update with Death Stranding shit in it.
Yeah.
And there's some normal stuff in it, like a bike, a tank for your bike that has like the United Cities logo on it.
Yeah.
Hashtag baby gang.
But there's also a gas tank that's just the baby.
Yep. Have you seen Motorcycle Baby, Bob?
I have not seen Motorcycle Baby. This sounds amazing.
The baby's fucking in the motorcycle, and I lost it.
It's just it's just that tank with the baby in it, but that's your gas tank.
It's got the BB. Just the full BB tank.
That's amazing.
Honestly,
also horrifying.
Honestly, it's so funny. I almost want to go back and play Death Stranding or Days Gone. Day Stranding.
Dan's already like, oh, thank God I dropped that mess about Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, I'm like, it's fine. I don't need to beat it. You need to play it.
In one of the most bizarre and cryptic statements I've ever seen a company make, Ubisoft says, Just Dance 2020 is the last Just Dance game on the Wii, but it may not be the company's final Wii game.
I think that they said that they don't know if that's going to be the final Wii game in general. They just know it's their last Wii.
Oh, which is still stupid, I think, but it's less insane.
Right.
Unless it's just like, keep making them for the Wii, but call it something else. Like Wii Dance.
What? Actually, yeah, that was what my first thought was. I'm like, oh, they're rebranding.
That's, now that I said it, I think that's the most likely thing, where next year you get Just Dance 2021 for the Switch, but you get Wii Dance 2021.
No, next year they're rebranding to Keep Dancing.
Never gun cock. Keep dancing.
I like the idea of having a box art that says gun cock on it.
Like an asterisk.
Yes.
And for southern territories, especially Texas, that you're going to have your regional version of Dance, varmint.
Now, this was a weird one. Platonic hired the guy, the former Rare guy who designed Mumbo and somebody else. I forget his name.
Much fun.
Then he posted, like, never thought I'd have a chance to use this again. And he posted a Microsoft branded, like, carrier bag. So everybody immediately published news stories. Platonic working with Microsoft. And then that became like Platonic being bought out by Microsoft. Platonic making another Banjo game, which caused them to respond publicly and saying, guys, we're not making a Banjo game, and we will not be bought out by Microsoft.
Why
which is good, but on some level, I want the nightmare future where Microsoft buys Platonic, they make a Banjo game nobody likes, and then get sent to the Connect mines.
No, they're forced to make 2D gameplay Banjo games, and then as we've predicted, other people will get to make the normal Banjo games. or maybe Platonic has to make one of the 13 Halo games.
Ninja Theory will make the new Banjo game after Conquer 2.
Now, you mentioning them going back, them being sent to the mines, made me think, what would be an equivalent of other, like, these people escaped and then are making their own games? And I'm like, this is like if Kojima came back to Konami.
It's a lot like Bungie, what Bungie actually did.
It is a lot like what fucking Bungie actually did, where they're like, oh man, we're really tired of being owned and enslaved by these giant publishers. Activision, you'll help us out, right?
Activision, like, of course. And then, like, the mercenaries pop out with tasers and those, like, leashes on sticks that animal control uses.
This is the late...
Also people saying, man, Microsoft should buy Bungie again. And I was like, no, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
That'd be really funny. But Giant Bomb eventually got bought by the same people who owned the site that fired Jeff Gerstmann in the first place.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
So Chad Robertson, basically the dude who had been running Anthem at BioWare, the head of their online services, has left.
Wonder if that means anything.
No, they're just bleeding huge talent.
You sent me this news as soon as it dropped. And all you sent was a link and ghoulish howling.
Yeah.
From Forbes. What appears to be the last guy running Anthem just left.
Yeah.
Now that studio's doing fine.
Yeah. And that game's going to keep running.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the Fairy Tale Minute.
No. I like Fairy Tale, and no.
They released a little bit of information. Most of it is just, slight elaboration on stuff they've already said. But we did get one very important piece of news. Hiro Mashima, the author, is personally approving every single costume.
Well, that's good. It's got to be accurate to the world.
That's all. That's why I said minute.
Yep.
It'll never end.
How you doing, Dan? Did you pass out?
I have nothing to say about the fairy tale minute. It's just something you grit your teeth for and it passes.
Okay, I have a sort of Pokemon thing. I think this was publicly announced. Every site I saw covered it openly in the headline, which they normally don't do for spoilers. So I'm not counting it as a spoiler.
I don't trust your judgment on this.
I don't trust Phil's judgment at all.
It's this person did a song for the game.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that was publicly announced. Okay, I thought it was something that wasn't on the news.
No, Toby Fox did a song for Pokemon. He's now the most powerful composer in the industry.
Yeah, they posted a preview and everything. I think it was on like some radio program or something.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it had gotten like publicly announced, but I'm like, Polygon just said it in a headline, so it must.
Yeah, it was before the leaks started happening. Which, by the way, yeah, Pokemon head leaks. We're not really talking.
Yeah, we're not going to talk.
We're
about
not
that.
talking about leaks. We're not going to spoil something that isn't even fucking out yet.
They did put out a trailer that's unrelated to new Pokemon. Did you guys see that? Came out yesterday. It's mainly quality of life features and stuff. So they're like, here are these special little nature supplements that you can give the Pokemon. And each of them are like named after specific natures. And they're like, this will change how the stats of the Pokemon work. And that'll be how you push a Pokemon to be what you specifically wanted it to be. That way maybe you catch something really good, or maybe you got a shiny that has a shitty nature and you don't want that. So they've added that. They have expanded on rare candies to the point where there's just like bigger ones and smaller ones and stuff. Like they have a bunch of different types, I guess, to get certain Pokemon fighting fit a little bit faster. And they confirmed that you can access your Pokemon box anywhere, except for like certain areas like gyms and other locations. So you'll be able to swap out Pokemon on the fly, just like in Let's Go. But that's it. It was just mainly some quality of life stuff.
And the last thing that I can get through quickly, because the other things I'll bring up tied to KZ stuff. Chipp and Potemkin have been revealed for Guilty Gear 2020. Mike Z was really not happy about what he saw of Potemkin.
Or in general.
It sounds like there's lots of problems.
It sounds like, from what a lot of people are saying, there are a lot of systems that look incredibly bad in this. It doesn't seem to be holding true to the original.
My understanding is that they removed a lot of stuff that made Guilty Gear like unique in fighting games.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we have this dichotomy with ArcSys, where it's like the fighter they're known for is the least palatable to the general public. People just loved it based on its aesthetic. So, because Guilty Gear is a very aggressive game with a lot of systems in it. It's not exactly noob-friendly like fighters.
I think the weird thing is, now that they're more famous than ever,
yes,
they could have just done that. It could have been a complete nonsense, like absurd amounts of high skill level, and people would be like, but this looks dope. And it would just thrive, I feel.
I mean, it worked when Guilty Gear originally came out.
For Tekken. Tekken is ridiculously complicated and execution heavy, and it's like the most popular non-NetherRealm fighting game.
I played that 3 times. I still don't know what's going on.
Amazing. Usually KZ has a full grasp of every mechanic in a game by the 3rd time playing.
I at least... No, this is like a level of I have no fucking idea. It's like when I found MOBAs for the first time.
Fair.
Yeah, all I know is that apparently betas will never fix anything.
Okay, no, I have to call out these people.
No, we don't.
Reminding Casey.
Oh my god.
It is ridiculous when the developers of the game do an interview and say, this is our goals for this game, to then go, well, guys, if people complain, they might completely change what they're doing when the game will be out in less than a year. No, that isn't happening in any dimension.
So wait, you have made such a reference to an obscure Twitter argument, I guess, that I'm not sure I follow you. You're saying
a lot of people are mad that people are complaining about this Guilty Gear game changes, and their argument is, they're taking feedback.
Both sides of that conversation are insufferable. One side is like they're taking feedback. The other side is nothing will change. Only like 0.01%. All these other video games changed after betas. They're fighting games. It doesn't count.
We don't even have a release date for this fucking game. Like, it can change. It's made by real fucking developers. This isn't like a ragtag team of indie people. Like, the game can change before it fucking comes out. Neo changed drastically after its beta. Right, Bob?
That's true.
So fucking, like, get the fucking developer of
You're
Guilty
right.
Gear
I didn't like Neo before.
The developer of Guilty Gear can easily make some fucking changes in the next 13 months because, once again, we have no fucking idea when it ships.
The developers directly said that everything is subject to change from they're like, it's not just the UI, it's everything.
At the same time, I think they're trying to make a more mass palatable game. So I don't know if they're even interested in making it closer to the original. But I do think you can't die from chip damage is a really weird thing for Guilty Gear. And honestly, that game trying to turn Guilty Gear into a more mass palatable game is a very odd choice. Like, it would have almost made more sense with Blaze Blue, but...
Yeah, I feel like Blaze Blue was their more mass appeal game. That's what they should have done this for.
Was it? By Central Fiction, every character has like 18 unique mechanics.
You have
it's all mapped to one button. That's their conceit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's all mapped to one button. At that point, you can be like, well, Smash Bros. And B moves. But it's okay. Mike Z assures everyone that instead of the you Ataga player meme, it is now going to be you a Potemkin player meme. I look forward to that producer saying that on stage.
You a Guilty Gear player.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you like Guilty Gear? Ha ha ha. We have Guilty Gear 2020 now. We don't need you.
You don't like it. You don't like it when every single thing you do knocks the opponent full screen, so you can't keep pressure up. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing they've put out. I totally understand people giving feedback. I haven't seen people who are upset over people giving feedback. That's an insane part of Twitter. But I absolutely think the game can change before it ships. We should move on, though. I think we spent enough time talking about that.
Dan, you will need to take my news. I have to leave to get Death Stranding.
Sorry, Bob. I tried really hard.
All right.
I tried really hard to let you deliver your tiny amount of news, but I can do that, I think. Kojima says that Kojima Productions will make movies in the future. I argue Kojima Production has made movies all along.
No, okay. I hate that he announced this because I'm like, I'm not reading the replies to this post.
You know, it's going to be funny when he makes movies and they're nothing like any of his games.
Oh no, of course they're going to be like his games, because his games are just, I want to make scenes like this. Let's find a game that works with that. Like, most... I'm looking forward to the Death Stranding spoiler cast. I'm going to cut myself off there. I'm going to cut myself off there.
We get to finally start preparing for that later tonight. I
can't wait until it doesn't actually happen, because none of us like the game enough to beat it.
Feels just lazy.
We did a Days Gone spoiler cast.
I know.
I think we did.
That game.
I don't care
this
how...
is certainly going to be a better experience.
Yeah, I don't care how miserable Death Stranding is. There's no way it's as bad as Days Gone.
My greatest fear is having to get onto that spoiler cast and say, I liked Days Gone more.
And that's what excites me.
So, we had some more shuffling at Sony when I woke up this morning and saw some people tagged in fucking vague tweets. I was like, did Shu fucking leave? I'm lost all faith if Shu fucking left Sony, because he was like the last major dude. No. As it turns out, Shuhei Yoshida has just become the head of a new independent developer initiative over at Sony to work with indie devs and getting their games on PlayStation. And his former job at Sony Entertainment, Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, is being headed up by Herman Holst from Guerrilla Games, who has presented like Killzone, Shadowfall, and other games from them in the past. He's been running Guerrilla basically the whole time. So this kind of makes sense. It's interesting and definitely better than what I thought it was going to be when I saw that first tweet of like, Shu, you did great, and I look forward to your future endeavors. And I'm like, excuse me? Because right before this, the thing KZ has written down happened. Gio Corsi left.
Yeah, he left a few days ago, which that power struggle stuff has been real interesting at Sony, because in some of their PR they were talking about they were saying some nice things about Europe, which are following the fact that Europe got completely owned in this power struggle where everything's being handled in America now.
Yeah, it's weird because if you guys recall, the head of Sony Computer Entertainment America came from Europe, and then the European invasion happened. Herman Holst taking charge of Worldwide Studios.
The fucking redcoats, am I right?
Am I right, gamers? So this whole thing is really bizarre and interesting. This is a scary time for people who want PlayStation to be good. But who knows? As most people in this podcast would attest to, and Bob would definitely do it if he was here. Rip.
He's dead.
He's stranding right now. He's dead stranding. Anyways,
for exactly 21 minutes, he's dead.
So Sony has been doing a not great job running PlayStation over the last generation. They've been offering less compelling services and value to gamers, and I think a shakeup is in order. I think they could be doing better as a company, so moving everything around, maybe not the worst. We'll have to see.
I hope all the people who are like, our console should be sold at a profit and fuck backwards compatibility, I hope all those people left.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's the head of America, but
yeah. It seems like Shuhei got a demotion effectively through this.
Kind of, but here's the weird thing.
He's heading up independent stuff now, but before I heard everyone talking about how he was the one you would pitch your game to, like Cory Barlog saying he was mortified just having to go in front of Shuhei to pitch his stuff.
Yeah, because he headed up their first party stuff, and he also worked on independent things. This is more like they divided his job in two, and he got the indie end of it, which, to be honest, he might prefer. Like, he seems really passionate about indie games on their platform, so this is probably what he wants.
It seems like his job now is to go find the studios that will be built into like the next big first party Sony studios.
I think it's more about getting back to where they were in the PS3 days of having a lot of small indie stuff, because that's completely lacking in the PS4 generation. There's no Echo Chrome. There's no, oh man, there were a lot of exclusives that were indies that gen. I'm trying to remember the names of them, but I can't right now.
They were kind of talking about how responding to people, I guess, saying that they weren't always indie focused, I guess, because there's been that talk about how they pushed it really hard at the start of the generation, and once they got well enough ahead, they kind of just stopped.
Yeah, that did fucking happen, didn't it?
And then they said, we've always been with the indies. They've just all moved to VR, and we've supported them through that.
Yeah, that's true. I feel the market's really weird, and they should do more to assist indies making games that aren't VR, but whatever. KZ, I'm a very big fan of Square Enix. That's why people call me Squex Maniac. Do you have any Square Enix news for me?
Well, Squex Maniac, we have a lot of preparations for next gen, because as you know, Square sometimes took a while to get revved up this previous gen, and they don't want that happening anymore. They've been training on the Unreal Engine. They've learned a lot throughout previous projects, and they are hiring for multiple different things. For example, the third division over there, that's the one that's doing Final Fantasy XIV, reiterated that they're working on a next-gen title that we don't know about.
Okay.
And they showed a piece of art, which I linked in the notes. Some concept art for the project that looks really neat.
I hope it's Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, it's seeming. People have been theorizing about that for like 3 years now. That's what that division's doing.
It'd be smart. It's the most successful Final Fantasy thing going at the moment.
There were some key staff members that were working on Heaven's Ward, the first proper expansion to 14, and they left. And people were like, I wonder what they're doing. And it seems they all went over and started this, and I get some vibes from that castle. Some Heaven's Ward vibes from that. So I'm hoping that it's FF16, but that's one of their next-gen titles that they've been cooking up on. A few months ago, they finished like the preliminary stuff, and they're now full force working on it. Speaking of hiring, though, we have the Square Enix First Division, and they recently like fused their business divisions together. There used to be like a bunch of them. Now they've combined a lot of them together. This one does
like
Kingdom
what
Hearts
Sega
3.
did.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 13 if you want to go way back. They're now hiring for a next-gen action game that's a new IP. And
Where the fuck is Babylon's Fall?
I have no idea.
That's a great question.
Platinum, what happened?
It must be a next-gen title. That's the only thing that makes sense. Is it like it got moved?
In the time since that was announced, they announced and released Astral Chain.
Okay, that was only announced in 2018. That wasn't so long ago.
It was kind of a void of time. That was the same time they announced The Quiet Man.
Ugh. Yeah, the bouncer too.
You're gonna have to take that the fuck back, or I'll explode my car.
Please don't insult
you.
the bouncer.
Please.
Stop threatening him with your car.
No.
Okay, that it's reasonable. Last one, just to keep people on track of what all next gen stuff they're working on. Besides this thing at the Final Fantasy 14 division, besides this action game new IP, we have Luminous Productions still making their new IP for next gen that will use the Luminous engine. I swear, they said they're going to. Please stop laughing, Dan and/or Bob.
I actually didn't see the note, so that was even funnier that you called it.
Maybe the PS5 will be able to reveal the true I know, Dan. I'm offering a optimistic scenario.
Okay. I've played the DLCs for 15 run so much better than the base game that I feel like if they don't shoot for fat open world thing and they scale back a bit, the engine won't shit its pants.
You have to access them from a menu so it can boot the alternate game engine that's just Unreal 4.
No!
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's all the Square news, though.
Oh. Well, that makes me excited as a Squex maniac.
Now it's time for BlizzCon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Podlords, and I'm like, hey, we already did that.
Okay. I guess we'll take it from the start. I did my best to trim this as best as possible. Opening up with, I guess, the obvious one. When they opened their keynote for BlizzCon, head of Blizzard, Jalen Brack, comes out and feel this is where you talk.
Okay, he didn't apologize for shit. If you think that was an apology, fuck you. You can't apologize for something without mentioning the person you fucked over.
They also didn't mention Hong Kong, no. Nothing was mentioned.
When you rat fuck somebody, you have to then, and you're apologizing for rat fucking them, you have to name them.
Why is it rat fucking?
That's an actual term, look it up.
Oh, okay. I was like, weird.
And not only that, after this quote, fucking a million quotes, so many quotes that fucking all quotes in the English language. After this quote apology, Overwatch host Justin Conroy posted a tweet in solidarity with Blitzchung and HK, and then Blizzard said, "Take it down." And he did, and then said, "Blizzard made me take it down."
Jesus
Not
Christ.
even a week after, like 2 days.
They didn't spend a lot of time with that apology, but they did spend plenty of time apologizing for colors in Diablo 3 because they revealed Diablo 4 in what may be the longest CG trailer I've ever seen. I thought it looked cool. There's like flesh capes and shit.
Yes, that thing at the very end was cool. I too thought it was cool. I wish it didn't take so long to build to it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was running a little long. I was trying to immerse myself in this. I've never played any Diablo game.
Ah, jeez.
So writing the notes for a lot of Blizzard stuff, I was like, oh, okay,
I can talk about it. I can talk about it. Long time fan of Diablo. Not a big fan of 3, but I understand it's a lot of people like it. Diablo 4 is showing some interesting traversal stuff. You see characters climb up the walls of things. You see characters jump over gaps. It has a slightly darker art style than 3 did, and it visually looks really nice. For me, the thing with 3 and the thing I hope they fix in this is how skill tree used to matter more in Diablo 2, in my opinion, because there was an opportunity cost to it a bit. And I felt the skills in that had more interesting directions to go in. So I don't know if they're going to do any of that. But the cinematic trailer they showed for this was very cool at the end for 20 seconds, maybe 40. Problem, it was 3 years long. So
I'm gonna be honest, that ritual thing at the end was like 2 minutes long. Like it was going for a while of just blood and rocks and embryos.
Also, the sound mixing on it was terrible, and
this is why I love doing podcasts with you.
it's nuts. It was to the point of I went, are these headphones broken? What's going on? Why does this sound
The
so
funny
bad?
part is me and KZ are gonna go back and watch the trailer now and be like, "Fucking Dan was right. God damn it."
I am. I'm going to fucking watch the last part of that trailer again.
Now, KZ truncated his notes. He originally had much more.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he mentioned PvP and then said, like, in parentheses, did other games have PvP? I don't know. Now, KZ, I want to tell you something about Diablo 2.
Yes.
Diablo 2 had PvP, and one of the most effective things you could do when setting up to fight someone is drop 1 gold on every single free space in the map, so your opponent's computer would choke to shit when they saw you, and you could just eradicate them while their rig was chugging because you had 1 single gold on every free space.
That's hilarious.
That is amazing. That is delightful.
If I remember correctly, something else they announced is that Diablo 4 will be an always online game. If I remember correctly, they announced that you have to be connected to the internet to play it, just like Diablo 3, because.
Not surprising.
I
Is it
think
always
we're
online
gonna.
on consoles too?
I don't think Diablo 3 was, and to be honest, I doubt Diablo 4 is. But who knows? Maybe it is.
I just think that, the parents Activision, and I'm like, Activision would want that.
I mean, Blizzard did that with
Yeah.
Diablo 3 before they were even a part of Activision.
Oh, okay.
Fucking, at least this time, there's no real money auction house because people don't realize that was
God,
a
I
giant
forgot that
fucking
Diablo
problem.
3 had that.
Oh,
That's what it launched with.
Dude, it was a nightmare. The real money auction house, a lot of people don't realize this, the real money auction house actually affected the drop rates in your game.
Yes.
If the auction house valued something,
What?
it was less likely to drop in your game.
That's fucking vile. That should be a crime.
Yeah, so
I followed a couple of podcasts when that game launched, and it was just them going fucking mental over that stuff.
yeah, no, Diablo 3 really, really betrayed me. I got it at launch, played through it relatively quickly at a LAN party, and then just never touched it again. I'm not a big fan of it. I hope 4 has some improvements. It looks like they have some ideas to change the gameplay, and the style of it seems really neat. seems like the story's going more for a Diablo 2 vibe instead of a Diablo 3 vibe, which is to say it doesn't look fucking stupid. Diablo 3's plot is a nightmare. Fun. Yeah, no, it looks fine.
I'm interested in giving it a try. I had a few rapid fire ones here just because they're the minor reveals, I guess, or the ones we don't know a lot about. The first one is the World of Warcraft expansion. Shadowlands was revealed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to tell you all about World of Warcraft lore, KZ, but I need a companion with me before I can do that.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's gonna be aggro and he's gonna kill.
It's gonna be aggro.
Oh no. We're gonna have a podcast that's just called Aggro and Feel BKZ up with WoW lore.
Yes.
With a brick. The CG trailer they showed was cool. They showed some cool dude who's like frozen and burning, and then he got owned after 1 minute.
Okay,
and I was like,
I'll
that's
explain
lame.
this character. I'll explain that much.
He looked raw, and then
stupid.
I just went, this dude looks raw, and I replied, never mind.
So that dude's name is Bolvar 4Dragon. He was notable because in vanilla WoW, you had to do a really long quest line to get attunement to a raid. And if you don't know what attunement is, imagine it was a really long, annoying quest line you had to do to even be able to get into the raid. So imagine the new raid in Final Fantasy 14 or whatever, but you have to spend 30 hours and 1 billion gold just to get in.
That's hilarious. All 14 requires is one quest that's 5 minutes.
Yes, that was all the raids in vanilla WoW. But at the end of that quest line, 1 million super powerful ultra big dick dragons spawn and are about to kick your shit in. But they spawn right next to Bolvar 4Dragon, who is an NPC, and he just whips their ass super hard.
That's cool.
So then in Wrath of the Lich King, the second WoW expansion, he gets the shit owned out of him by a dragon and then turned into a zombie.
Oh.
So you kill the Lich King, you kill Arthas, and then Bolvar shows up and says, there must always be a Lich King, for no reason. This has never been established. This isn't
What
lore.
is this, Highlander?
Then he puts on the helmet and sits in the throne. And this is the first time we've seen him since then, I think.
Oh. So it's like a nostalgic thing where they're like pulling him back to get you hype and stuff.
It's they made him job because Sylvanas is like a major character now and she sucks. But she's the focus.
I know
now,
her because I played Hearthstone.
I know her because I played Heroes of the Storm.
One
Heroes
of these
of the
games
Storm
is still alive.
Okay, well, Heroes of the Storm, they announced Deathwing
Yes.
is going to be a hero in that.
Yeah, they sure did.
And that's it. That's all they had for that.
I mean, hey,
they flat out said,
game.
they said in like press release speak, esports for this didn't take off, so we're fucking done with it.
I mean,
nothing took off for that.
They added another character, so the press release you're talking about came out so long ago that if they were done supporting the game at all, this character wouldn't exist.
It was like we'll support it a little, but we're never gonna. Most of our 80% of its support is now gone.
Well, yeah, I'm sure 80% of it was just trying to push it as an esport and throw money at shit. It's like
I remember there's like an initial. Like I saw the news when the esports aspect got dropped.
Yeah.
And people were like, what the fuck is happening? What have they done? Because just like organizations like it's over.
Some dude's like, I was about to go to college and then I was going to become a hero of the dorm.
Yeah.
Don't you never fucking say that to me again.
That is a real thing. I know
it is, because that alliteration is fucking caustic. Of course it has to be real. Starcraft 2. It's also on life support. It's getting some sort of, my understanding is a co-op leader thing. I don't know what the fuck Starcraft 2 does.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I actually do care about Starcraft 2, but I didn't check out any. I didn't even know there was BlizzCon news about Starcraft 2. I apologize to our audience for not looking into it. I should have.
Like, it's been out for almost a decade. I feel like support going down for it isn't
I don't think that's
Yeah,
almost.
that's
I think it is
surprising.
literally a decade.
July 27th, 2010 is when it launched.
Okay, so we're almost at a decade. I haven't had my Jim Raynor cardboard standee in a while, you know.
They have a new co-op commander, Arcturus Mengsk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the villain of the one story.
Yeah, Emperor of the Dominion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they announced that was being added. They went through those two games like in 2 minutes. Just kind of rushed through those.
I feel like StarCraft 2 has been mostly usurped by MOBAs in terms of esports.
Yeah, that was the read I got, where StarCraft 2 was super massive in terms of esports, like coverage and stuff, and then MOBAs just got their stride and took
StarCraft
like
2
80%
lasted
of
for
it.
a while. It didn't really go down until like Overwatch came out, and then there was too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, also StarCraft 2
It was
had
around,
to
like,
compete with
2016,
StarCraft
2017.
1 in Korea and other places, so
Yeah.
that,
Oh yeah,
that was not easy. Ugh.
Well, that's the problem with making a game that good. How do you follow it up?
Yeah, Blizzard's done that twice. StarCraft 1 and Diablo 2. It's a real fucking problem.
Speaking of incredible games, Hearthstone has a brand new expansion.
Oh
that
my
was announced.
god. This is horrible. I'm reading this. Why?
So they opened it with like an aggressively horrible like animated song about dragons, and the dude said dragons 35 fucking times in 5 minutes. I have never been so just. I'm like, please leave the stage. But they said there's a brand new mode called, I think it's called Battlegrounds, and it is an 8-player auto battler mode. It's based on like the auto chess stuff that's been pretty hot.
Yeah.
With League
Someday I
and
should
Dota.
play one of those so I can know what the fuck it is.
Yeah. They're adding that to the game. They showed off a bunch of different cards and stuff like that. And
Jesus
I don't know,
Christ.
maybe I'll look at Hearthstone at some point. Maybe I'll look at it again. I quit before the first card expansion came out.
You quit
But I was
before it became clown shoes.
I did. I was in it hard. Very much enjoying it. I dropped right after Nax Ramus came out, which was like the first like
Okay,
story
so I'm looking
mode
at
thing.
I'm looking at these new cards for this new expansion. There's one card that gives you random bullshit, 2 cards that gives you random bullshit, 3 cards that gives you random bullshit. Oh no.
Are you telling me Hearthstone's the
4.
Mario Party of card games?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It'd be a shame if they made esports out of that. So our final thing that they showed,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that I think dominated like their BlizzCon stuff, Overwatch 2 was officially revealed. They did their usual cinematic, in which they finally said, all right, we'll make all the characters fucking come together this time. Finally.
I really thought May had died, and
But they did a neat cinematic. As someone who's followed those, I was like, good. You finally did something that isn't a flashback. Thank God. I enjoyed that. And then, of course, they opened with what Overwatch 2 is, which is an expansion type thing that they're calling a sequel, because then more people will pay attention. It's loading itself up with a lot of PvE content, split into 2 different types. They have story missions, which are co-op missions where you travel across the globe fighting the Null Sector, that are they're robots, while collecting various items and power-ups throughout the map. And we'll have cutscenes like before and after and stuff. They showed some gameplay of this too. Looked pretty good.
How real of a story mode do you think this will be?
I think real enough. Like they showed cutscenes, like they showed detailed like cutscenes.
My
of
vote
stuff
is
playing
going to
out
be
and-
just short of real enough.
Now, I do have to wonder about it. Overall, the gameplay of it looked pretty alright. They had decent, like, enemy variety. Like, on top of, like, some super huge tank-busting enemies. I saw, like, a bunch of flying enemies as well. The levels seemed pretty...
I gotta ask.
Pretty interesting.
Was there a co-op mission in a level that doesn't exist in Overwatch 1 shown?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Like,
yeah.
And if not, it was stuff like the map showed the same areas we've been to, the same locations, like the cities and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were in interiors I don't remember ever seeing before.
Okay,
because like in a big reactor room filled with flying enemies and stuff.
Okay, every clip I checked out, it was like, here's all of these levels, you know. There's snow now in this one, and it's night at this one, and I'm like, I'm losing it. What the hell?
Okay. I think that's what the hero missions are, because story missions, they have specific heroes that these are the only ones in it because it's for story reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you pick. It's kind of like in Brawl Subspace Emissary. Like which one of these are you?
Man,
and then
I've never known someone who could string together a sentence that made me so disinterested so fast.
Yeah, I was like, KZ, that is the absolute worst possible thing you could have said.
I'm glad that my intent was laid bare. You get to choose between those sets, and in the example they showed, there's like 6 characters on screen, and it's 4 people. It's a 4-player story thing. You get to choose who you picked there, and then you pick up the items and stuff. Hero missions, though, you can pick whoever you want, and this is what I think you saw, because it's supposed to be highly replayable missions where they're on the old maps.
Okay.
And you're taking on the robots, and this is where you get the experience to customize your skills and make a better tracer, for example. Where it's like, oh, her ultimate of throwing the bomb can now chain together across a bunch of different enemies and make an even bigger explosion. And that's where all the skill tree stuff's going to be used.
And that seems neat. That seems really neat, that skill tree stuff. Like, I think that's a really great direction to take that game. Like, adding skill trees on top of a hero shooter is really interesting. It's weird to do for a, PvP multiplayer thing, because then somebody could have a skill advantage or an advantage in play based on they've played enough to unlock this specific branch. But, when you're doing co-op, that doesn't matter as much.
That and the fact that skill trees across what I think they're like at 30 heroes at this point, so that's a lot of different stuff you're gonna have with that. They showed a bunch of additional like alternate skills, like Genji's ultimate, where he swings his sword, can now do sword beams, and Reinhardt he has a projectile with his hammer that now sets people on fire.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah. They have a lot of different stuff with that. When this first leaked, I was like, oh god, I hope that's not in PvP, right? They hit this crazy, right? Thank.
I don't know. I think a Marvel-esque mode of Overwatch just like as a separate mode would be hilarious.
Yeah. They've had like arcade modes where they just do bullshit.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they say, the server browser with custom games, we can just let people have fun and make up some crazy boss fight mode stuff with that. So I wouldn't be shocked if they did that. We have a brand new mode for PvP, which is Push. Basically, it's a symmetrical map with a robot in the center, and you push it. It's like a payload, but it's only one payload that both teams are trying to get, and the robot just pushes barriers on the other team's side.
Right.
And whoever pushed their barrier farthest at the end wins.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I thought it was pretty funny. Pushbot.
Yeah, the robot talks. Pushbot. Yeah.
So it is insane that we couldn't get through a single podcast without 2 Repliku Dans, who are PlayStation stands, coming in. I posted this art from Shibuya Gato in the
Market
Discord.
My console's too
You can't
strong.
stop me. My console's too strong. I like the attention to detail on abs there. Very important. Very important.
You got ripped. The fact that you're holding the denim jacket over your shoulder.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
Very, very pleased.
Oh, man. But yeah, I looked it up while we were talking about it, and there are 31 characters currently in Overwatch. So, yeah, it's a lot of work to build a skill tree out of that.
They're like, all the things that we cut because it'd be too ridiculous, we're putting it in the skill tree.
Yeah.
We got new maps. They teased 4 of them for like brand new locations. And Jeff Kaplan said that every mode in the game's getting new maps at the launch of Overwatch 2. So it's not too surprising. I'm excited for like new locations. They all looked pretty cool from what little they showed of it.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for new heroes. They showed off Sojourn.
Sojourn, yeah.
Yeah, she's from Canada. She's black. She's got the white dreads.
She's definitely not a part of a checklist, according to Jeff Kaplan.
I don't get this joke, but okay.
Somebody asked, "Hey Jeff Kaplan, why is it taking you like 5 years to make a black woman a hero?" And he said, "Well, we don't want to feel like we're going down a diversity checklist," which might be the worst possible answer.
All right. I have no comment on
they
this.
also showed off they also showed off Echo, which was a character that has been shown in the concept art from when Overwatch was first revealed, and then like showed up in one of their cinematics, I think last year or the year before, whichever one put out the McCree one.
Oh, I thought this fucking character came out.
No. They've been slowly building toward that character. This character was in the McCree cinematic, and then it was like, oh, okay. Guess we'll see that with Overwatch 2 whenever that comes out, I guess.
Cool.
But they said PvP content will come to Overwatch 1 as well, because it sounds like they're just merging the clients together on PC. And you'll just launch Overwatch and it goes, pay the money for Overwatch 2. And then a lock will disappear from all the PvE content.
KZ, you've done an admirable job of phrasing this. Merging the clients for a game that is one game.
No, but it's Overwatch 2.
You're right.
This is like...
They put a 2 there.
I like her like, here's these characters' new looks for Overwatch 2. And it's like, these are skins.
I mean,
yes,
they have differences, but you can tell it doesn't deviate enough where it's like, whoa, radical new design.
It's like
Jesus.
when a cartoon gets its movie and then the character looks slightly different for it.
Now I'm gonna call my shot.
Oh god.
We don't know when this game is coming out. It might be 2021 even. I'm calling my shot. A percentage of people, whatever system they have for importing your cosmetics, a percentage of people will lose them all. There will be a bug at the launch of that service where some people just fucking lose everything.
Hey guys, we're really sorry. We accidentally scheduled Overwatch 2 to coincide with the PS5 and Xbox 2 launches.
Here's how that's gonna go. They're gonna announce that and they're like, okay, everything's gonna work. Like, I feel like it'll work, right?
No.
Because if it's just gonna be the same client, and it's just like, oh, we added this and we put a 2 on it. If it's gonna be like that, then there's no reason for anything to break.
Yeah, you would think this thing is just a giant firmware update or a giant patch to the original game. Except for on, like, yeah. It should just be a giant patch to everything but Switch. Because Switch won't get it.
Yeah.
They already said Switch was getting it.
They did.
My God, why did they say that?
This is on the same engine. It's the same assets. This is a patch for Overwatch 1 they decided to sell.
If If
Feel-
Overwatch
let me-
2
let
was
me
a
explain.
separate game, I would understand cosmetics like Breaking Bad for a percentage of people.
Right. Like Destiny. If it was as different as Destiny 1 and 2.
If it was a jump from 1 to 2, a real jump,
Right.
where it's like, oh, you're downloading a completely new client, you're paying that money for a new game. But this, they're likely just going to patch in a thing. Is like, it's two now. Look at all these grayed out modes. Pay us money.
That feels weird, but I do sit here and wonder, like, how long does it take them to launch a proper next-gen version of this game on those next-gen consoles? And is it just going to be 4K 60, or are we going to try to push 120 frames per second on console? Because that sounds delightful. What I'm trying to say is I would love the casualness of playing Overwatch on console, but I need it to stop feeling like shit first.
Somehow Overwatch 2 feels worse. The patch, the fucking sequel adds like 10 milliseconds of input latency.
That would make it what? I don't know. The fucking console version feels like shit compared to the PC version. It kills me. When's crossplay? That's more important than Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that's important. They need to.
I guess they have to patch that shit in, don't they?
I wonder if they will, because I imagine some people would not want to play with PC people.
That is the big question for these first person shooters. Is like, do you include PC or do you only include the other console?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Even that would be good.
If you let somebody with fucking keyboard and mouse go up against somebody in a controller, the dude with the controller is going to get mulched.
Yeah, unless the auto aim is egregious.
It's pretty decent auto aim, in my experience of it, but I feel like people are still going to have a bad time with that.
As someone who plays...
What was the thing that, didn't Genji's one of Genji's moves, like, glitch with the auto aim in a way people thought was deliberate for a little bit, like it reversed it?
Oh, I didn't know about that at all.
Apparently there was something where they removed it, where like on consoles, it would, when Genji like jumped up in the air with a move, it would push your cursor away from him.
Huh. Man, that's really weird. All
Which
I know
think is actually a good mechanic to use deliberately.
It's an interesting idea, sure. I just, as someone who likes to play as Reinhardt and Pharah, it's a real... It sucks to not be able to spin a 180 like instantly like you can on a mouse. So the question is, do they just let these consoles work with mouse and keyboard? Like, do we get to that point? I know some games do that. Not a ton, though.
I think Microsoft's slowly getting to that.
Yeah, that's true. Microsoft did just build in support in the Xbox One to let you do that. So I guess the Xbox 2 will also do that whenever that comes out. In theory.
That seems to be their whole goal of like, let's keep everything. That feels like their main goal. The way they've described this Overwatch 2 is a little bit strange. One, they said, we're going to go dark for a while. We'll give you more news next BlizzCon, which means that this is a little bit far off. Does that mean that Sojourn is a character that'll just be in Overwatch 1? Are they holding that character there? Are they
implied that it wasn't coming out until Overwatch 2, which I think is what got people so annoyed.
I just feel like them showing stuff in a reveal for this, but this is also not coming out for at least a year. Are they just not making Overwatch updates?
Yeah,
are they going to do it anyway? The messaging is a little bit strange. I guess in a 2 or 3 months, depending if you see anything new in Overwatch, will tell you. But I'm assuming
How would we know? How would we know, Casey? They could announce another character, and all three of us will just instantly forget.
I'll remember.
I probably won't.
I'll remember because I installed Overwatch on PC. It's happening.
Yeah, Casey, who's the most recent character they added to Overwatch?
The black guy.
Damn, you're right. I think. No.
No.
I think wasn't it
I don't
Sigma?
think he's right. Yeah, Sigma's
Oh
the most
no,
recent.
it's Sigma, the dude who doesn't wear shoes because he's autistic.
No, they said insane. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
they said
sure
insane.
they hedged on insane, which is even
Oh, okay.
like what the world.
I kept seeing headlines that just said that, and I was like, "What?"
We wanted to make it seem like he was in a mental health hospital, so we made him not wear shoes. And I'm like, excuse me? Fucking Overwatch. Anyway, I think that's all the news for this week. Fucking Overwatch. God.
I loaded it up, and I'm like, "Man, this feels so much better than the PS4 version."
Yes, it does. I wish it didn't.
You gotta play with me, Dan.
I have way too much shit going on right now.
Yeah, don't fucking hurt Kate. Don't fucking hurt Dan.
I heard Dan all the time with things not related to Overwatch. It ain't any different.
This isn't like Dan's gonna be like, I'm gonna go get fit and do Ring Fit in case he's like, play Overwatch instead. Eat a Whataburger while you do it.
Play Overwatch.
I'm not gonna tell him to eat a Whataburger.
Play Overwatch and drink peanut butter whiskey. And I'm like, you're right. I could just undo all of Ring Fit.
Put that. Oh shit, that hasn't come out yet. Fuck.
We done.
Yep. KZ, what do you have coming out in the next week?
Videos? I got videos.
I hear you might be on a Death Stranding spoiler cast, potentially.
Yes.
Ah, that's good.
I'm gonna
That's good.
dive bomb that game as soon as we're done with our work tonight, so I'll be playing it.
Very cool. That's what I have coming out. Don't ask me for Ring Fit streams. Don't ask me for Detroit. We're working on
Are
really...
you Harada? Don't
We're-
ask me for shit.
Basically, because this is what I deal with all day. I signed into the Discord. 4 different people yell at me for different things, and I explain to them I would love to be working on those things. I'm too busy right now. I would love to be working on those things. Please just let me live in peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future. The executive producers of GigaBoots for the month of October are Vincent Boberg, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Dryzard, Red Blaze 27, Third Birthday Wen, and Cappy. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these guys. If you want to support videos like this, then head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots and become an executive producer today.